What you see most often becomes a law of your life, and most people never stop to question the images that surround them every single day. Not the images on their walls, their screens, or their mirrors, but each one is shaping what you believe is possible, what you believe you deserve, and who you believe you are. So listen, your mind is constantly scanning your environment for instructions. It doesn't ask, is this good for me? It asks, is this familiar? And what shows up most often becomes law. That means if you were raised around chaos, you normalize it. And if you scroll past struggle, scarcity, and shame every day, you begin to believe it's your place in the world. Not because it's true, but because it's what's repeated. And this doesn't happen on accident. The system didn't just train us through school and policy, it trains us through imagery. Black women specifically, and the way we're perceived through society, has been conditioned through visuals for generations so that harm can be done to us without interruption. And I'll give you 2 examples. When our ancestors were in forced labor camps, Black women were repeatedly shown in imagery as half-naked, seductive, and wild. Not because it was true, but because it served a purpose. Those images were used to condition society to see our bodies as available, so that when violence happened to us, it was excused, justified, and expected. And because of this, if you wear something fitted, you suddenly become too much. If you have confidence in your body, then you get labeled. We were taught to view our own sensuality as dangerous, to disconnect from it or perform it, but never own it. And then we move into the 70s and 80s, where political campaigns flooded the media with images of Black women in food stamp lines. You had grainy photos, unflattering lighting, children clinging to their parents, and headlines screaming fraud. And none of this was about truth. It was about perception. If we could be painted as greedy, lazy, and manipulative, then the rest of the world could be convinced that we have never deserved softness, rest, or support. And that narrative worked. To this day, Black women are expected to earn every drop of comfort. We are expected to prove that we're not a burden, to work twice as hard, and still be questioned. So what does that have to do with your mirror? Everything. That programming didn't just end in textbooks or campaign ads. It moved into our homes, it hung itself on our walls, it slid into our feeds, and settle into our own reflections. And that's what causes you to wonder why it's hard to rest, why softness feels unfamiliar, and why your body still feels like something to fix or prove. And I need you to understand that it's not just trauma, it's training. What you've seen most often has become the law of your life. But here's the good news. If imagery was used to break us, then we can use images to rebuild. And that's what visual alchemy is about. It's more than just decoration, and it's more than making things look pretty. It's strategy. It's about replacing passive programming with intentional symbolism, removing images that are rooted in survival and replacing them with images rooted in sovereignty. This is how you use your environment to reprogram your beliefs so that your reality finally reflects the truth. And it's not new. Our ancestors understood this. Before we were stripped of our traditions, before our languages, rituals, and rhythms were disrupted, we lived surrounded by symbols. These symbols were deliberate, powerful spiritual codes designed to protect, activate, and align. That's why those images and practices were attacked, and we were forcefully disconnected from their wisdom. Because there is power in what you see. And it was understood that if we ever remembered how to see for ourselves, we could no longer be manipulated into what we believe. So this work, the work of visual alchemy and living by divine design, is not just helpful. It's mandatory, spiritual, ancestral, and it's urgent. You didn't choose the program that we're currently navigating, but now you can choose to reframe. This week, I want you to do one thing. I want you to do an image audit. I want you to take a look at the spaces that you navigate, your screens, and what you feel and believe when you look in the mirror. I want you to ask yourself, is this programming me towards the person that I'm becoming, or is this holding me captive to old narratives that I built in order to survive? And if what you see at the end of your audit does not reflect your divine design, it has no place in your temple. I want you to make the swap. I want you to replace one image today, and if you don't know where to stop, I've created something just for you. You can download the Visual Alchemy Starter Kit right now on my website, unveilingin.com, and inside it includes screensavers for your devices, desktop, as well as a mini guide for those of you who want to customize the practice of visual alchemy for yourself. Also, there is an affirmation audio reset for those times where you feel disconnected from the truth of who you are and you need to be grounded and reminded in the reality of your divine design. And don't stop there. I want you to lock in, subscribe, turn on those notifications, because I will be back with a video that goes deeper into the process of an image audit. And until then, I want you to remember, we are not waiting on liberation, power, or the manifestation of the world we believe we deserve. We're designing it ourselves, one image, one belief at a time. Let me know below if this message resonated with you, and keep living by divine design.